Nearly 1 in 2 adults over 60 is living with joint pain right now. Stiff knees, aching fingers, hips that wake you up at 3 in the morning. And most of them have been told the same lie, that it's just age, that it's just wear and tear, that they should take ibuprofen and learn to live with it. That is a lie. Your cartilage is not wearing out like a pair of old shoes. Your cartilage is being damaged by 5 specific failures happening inside your joint cells. Right now, silently, every day. And here is what no doctor has told you. Each one of those 5 failures can be reversed by one specific tree nut. I am going to rank them for you, from number 5 to number 1, so you know exactly which nut fixes what. And the number 1 on this list, a single one of them per day rebuilds the very thing your cartilage is missing most. This is not opinion. This is built on studies from top medical journals. And once you hear what your cells are actually doing, you are going to stop blaming your age and start feeding your joints. Because the longer you wait, the harder this gets to reverse. But the good news is this: you still have time. Most people do. After 60, here is what is actually happening inside your joints. I know you're tired of hearing that it's just age. I know you've tried things that didn't work. This is different. Your cartilage is made of living cells. Think of them as tiny gardeners. Their job is to maintain the cartilage that cushions your bones. Every day of your life, they tear down old tissue and build new. For 60 years, they do this beautifully. But somewhere after 60, those gardeners start to struggle. And they struggle for 5 very specific reasons. The walls of their cells start rusting from the inside. They run out of the materials to hold your collagen together, so the fibers loosen, like an old rug. There are tiny batteries inside every single one of these cells. Every cell in your body has batteries. And these batteries start misfiring, producing damage instead of energy. The internal clock that tells them when to rebuild goes haywire. And worst of all, inflamed cells start producing acid. The same kind of acid found in hydrogen peroxide, melting your cartilage from the inside out. Now, I know that's a lot to take in all at once. But don't worry. We are going to walk through each one of these failures one by one, and I will show you the exact nut that fixes each one. Now here is what your doctor is going to tell you about this. Take ibuprofen, try glucosamine, maybe steroid injections, maybe surgery, eventually. That helps with the pain. Sure, but none of that fixes any of the 5 failures I just described. None of it. Because ibuprofen does not give a joint cell the selenium it needs. Steroid shots do not deliver manganese to your batteries. Surgery does not restart your cartilage clock. And pharmaceutical companies are not rushing to tell you about any of this, because nobody can patent a Brazil nut. Only food does that. Specifically, 5 nuts. And here is the science. Over the last 20 years, more than 500 studies have looked at what actually rebuilds cartilage at the cellular level. Not covers pain, rebuilds. And almost every one of them points back to a handful of specific nutrients: selenium, manganese, copper, dietary melatonin, vitamin E. Not a supplement, not a prescription. Food. The kind of food your great-grandmother used to grab by the handful without thinking about it. But, and this is important, not all nuts are the same. Some are stars. Some are barely worth the calories. I ranked all 5 of them, from worst to best. Let's start with number 5 on our list, the almond. Almonds get a lot of attention in health circles. Every magazine article on best snacks over 60 puts almonds at the top, and for good reason. Almonds are the single richest food source of vitamin E on Earth. 23 almonds, about 1 ounce, gives you nearly half of your daily vitamin E needs. No other food comes close. But here is what nobody tells you about why vitamin E matters for your joints. Think of the walls of your cartilage cells like the walls of an old wooden house. With age, those walls start to rust from the inside. I know. Walls don't rust, they rot. But inside a living cell, the chemistry is closer to rusting than rotting. The walls oxidize. They start falling apart. And when they fall apart, they release toxic bits of debris that chew through the collagen inside your cartilage. This is what scientists call oxidative stress, and it is one of the biggest reasons cartilage dies after 60. You probably never heard that, did you? Vitamin E is the only antioxidant that actually lives inside those cell walls. Vitamin C and other antioxidants float around in the fluid. Vitamin E sits right in the wall itself and stops the rust before it spreads. A study from the Journal of Biological Chemistry as far back as the year 2000 proved this. Cartilage cells exposed to this kind of rust damage. Vitamin E saved them. A later study in elderly patients with knee osteoarthritis showed a 23% reduction in their rust markers after supplementation. So how do you use this? Very simple. 20 to 23 raw unsalted almonds per day with breakfast. That's it. But here's the catch, and this is exactly why I'm putting almonds at number 5 instead of number 1. Vitamin E is a protector. It keeps damage from happening. It does not rebuild damage that has already happened. You need that too, which is why you need the other 4. On my scale, I'd give the almond a 5 out of 10. Moving up to number 4, we have the cashew. Now here is where most people over 60 are missing something critical, and they have no idea. Your body can be making all the collagen in the world if you're taking collagen supplements, eating bone broth, drinking gelatin. That's great. But collagen without copper is like building a wooden bridge and forgetting the nails. Let that sink in. The planks are there. The wood is there. But nothing is holding the planks together. You step on it, the whole thing bows. You step harder, it collapses. Copper is the nails. Here is what actually happens inside your joint. When your body makes collagen, it doesn't come out as a finished structure. It comes out as loose fibers. Those fibers need to be linked together, cross-linked, to become the tough, springy cartilage that cushions your knees and hips. And the process that does the linking requires copper to function. No copper, no links. No links, no strong cartilage. This is why so many people over 60 have tried collagen supplements and felt nothing. They are missing the nails. Cashews are one of the richest food sources of copper. 18 cashews, about 1 ounce, gives you more than 2/3 of your daily copper requirement. Almost nothing else gets close, except oysters and beef liver. And most people 60 plus aren't eating those daily. There is a study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition going back to the 1990s that establish this copper-collagen connection cleanly. More recent work has shown that without enough copper, cartilage literally loses its tensile strength, its ability to hold up under pressure. So how do you use this? 15 to 20 raw, unsalted cashews a day. Just take them right alongside your almonds. My grade for the cashew? A 6 out of 10. Cashews give you the nails that hold your cartilage together. And from here, things really start to get interesting. At number 3 on this list sits the hazelnut. Now, we get into territory that even most health-conscious people don't know about. Every cell inside your cartilage has a tiny battery. That's called your mitochondria. And every battery throws off sparks as it works. This is normal. It happens in every cell in your body. But here's the thing. Each cell has a little fireman inside, putting out those sparks before they can cause damage. That fireman has a specific job. Neutralize the sparks. Keep the cell alive. Protect your cartilage. And the fireman needs manganese. Must have manganese. It is his tool. Without manganese, he cannot do his job. Here is what researchers discovered a few years ago, and it stunned the field. When manganese runs low, the fireman doesn't just stop working. He grabs the wrong tool, iron instead of manganese, and he switches sides. Your own defender becomes the destroyer. He starts setting fires instead of putting them out. He starts damaging the cartilage he was supposed to protect. This is happening right now silently in the knees of millions of people over 60. And nobody has told them. Why not, you might ask? Let me tell you why. Because this kind of science doesn't sell pills. Let me tell you about Ethel. She was 67 when she came to see me. She had tried everything. Glucosamine for 2 years. Chondroitin, turmeric. 3 rounds of physical therapy. Her knees still burned going upstairs. She was looking at knee replacement. Her blood work showed she was low in manganese. Not clinically deficient, but low. Like most people her age. She started a handful of hazelnuts every morning. Just that. 6 weeks later, her stiffness rating had dropped from an 8 out of 10 to a 3. She told me something I'll never forget. She said, "I forgot what it felt like to just get up." That is what shutting off the internal fire does. Hazelnuts have more manganese than almost any other food on Earth. 20 hazelnuts, about an ounce, gives you about 75% of your daily need. I give hazelnuts a strong 8 out of 10. That brings us to number 2. The pistachio. You know melatonin. You think of it as the sleep hormone. The thing you take when you can't fall asleep, or when you have jet lag. But here is what nobody has told you. Your cartilage has its own clock. A real, internal biological clock that works on the same rhythm as your sleep cycle. During the day, your cartilage is under load. Walking, standing, climbing stairs. During the night, when you're resting, your cartilage is supposed to be rebuilding itself. That is the whole reason you sleep. That nightly repair happens because of melatonin. Melatonin walks into your cartilage cells, finds its exact spot, and flips on the switches that rebuild collagen. That is why deep, quality sleep matters so much for your joints. Here's the problem. After 60, your melatonin production drops by a lot. Some studies show 70% lower levels in older adults compared to young adults. The clock starts slipping. The repair shop closes early. Sometimes it doesn't open at all. And this is exactly why your knees hurt worse in the morning, not at night. People think it's the cold. It's not. It's your cartilage waking up and realizing the overnight repair crew never showed up. Pistachios fix this. They contain more dietary melatonin than almost any other food in the world. A handful before dinner, about 49 pistachios, and you're giving your cartilage the signal to start rebuilding that night. And here's a wonderful bonus for you. You will sleep better too. It is the same chemistry at work. A meta-analysis in Frontiers in Pharmacology, published in 2021, confirmed that melatonin protects cartilage cells and slows joint degeneration. And dietary melatonin from pistachios is one of the most bioavailable sources we have. So how do you use this? A handful of pistachios, a few hours before bed. That's it. Now, I am not your doctor, but I am going to show you what the science is saying, and then you can decide for yourself. For the pistachio, I give it a 9 out of 10. Very close to the top. And now finally, the nut that earned the top spot on this list. At number 1, my friends, is the Brazil nut. If you only take one thing away from this video, one thing, let it be this. When your joints are inflamed, your own cells start producing acid. Not a metaphor, real acid. The same kind of acid you find in hydrogen peroxide, the stuff you put on a cut. And that acid is melting your cartilage from the inside out. Nobody told you that, did they? Your doctor didn't mention it. The supplement label didn't mention it. Because this acid production is the secret engine driving joint destruction after 60. It is not just wear. It is chemistry. Your cells are eating themselves. But here is what your body can do. It has a built-in acid neutralizer. A little cleaner inside every cell that grabs that acid and turns it into water. Harmless. Before it can do damage. And that neutralizer runs on one thing. Selenium. Without selenium, the neutralizer doesn't work. The acid runs free. Your cartilage dies faster than your body can replace it. Now here is the proof that this is real. Not theory. There is an entire joint disease, Cashew disease. It affects hundreds of thousands of people in certain regions of China, Russia, and Tibet. Children grow up with deformed joints. Adults can barely walk. Scientists spent decades figuring out why. The answer shocked them. It is the soil. The soil in those regions has almost no selenium. So the food has no selenium. So the people have no selenium. You know what reverses it? One thing. Selenium supplementation. The disease shrinks within 1 generation. A study published in Nature's Experimental and Molecular Medicine in 2020 laid this out clearly. And a more recent study in 2024 showed that selenium supplementation in joint cells reduced cartilage loss in just 2 weeks. 1 Brazil nut. A single Brazil nut per day gives you about 96 micrograms of selenium, almost twice your daily need. Don't eat more than 2 of these a day, though, because selenium does stack up in the body. My score for the Brazil nut? A perfect 10 out of 10. 1 nut. Every morning. That is the prescription. So here is how you put all of this together. I call it the joint mix. And my friend, listen to me carefully. This is simple. You can do this. Tomorrow morning, with breakfast, or even before breakfast if you prefer. Here is what you are going to do. You are going to grab one Brazil nut. Just one. That is all the selenium your body needs for the entire day. Then you are going to add a small handful of pistachios, about 20 of them. Then another small handful of hazelnuts, about 10. Then a small handful of cashews, about 10. And you are going to finish with a small handful of almonds, another 10. All of them raw, all of them unsalted. Now, I know roasted might be all you have sitting in the pantry right now, and that's fine if you're just getting started. But raw is always better, so work your way toward that over time. Put them all together in a bowl. Sit down and eat them slowly. And chew them thoroughly, because this part really matters. The nutrients inside these nuts are absorbed far better when they're properly broken down in your mouth before they ever reach your stomach. Do this every single morning for 30 days. Now, before you take that very first bite tomorrow, I want you to do two things. First, take a photograph of your hand opening and closing. Second, grab a piece of paper and make a list. Rate your morning stiffness from 1 to 10. Rate your knee pain going up the stairs from 1 to 10. And rate your hip pain getting out of a chair from 1 to 10. Then, 30 days later, check those numbers again and take another photograph of that same hand. You will see. And there are 3 important things you should not do. First, do not swap out your raw nuts for those roasted and salted store mixes, because they're usually soaked in seed oils that work against you. Second, do not skip the Brazil nut, even if you don't love the taste, because it is the single most important nut on this whole list. And third, do not eat the whole mix late at night. Keep it in the morning, except for the pistachios, which you can enjoy a few hours before bed. That's it. 5 nuts. 1 bowl. 30 days. 5 nuts. 1 bowl. 30 days. Say it with me if you have to. 5 nuts. 1 bowl. 30 days. For decades, they told you that joint pain is just a part of getting older. Take your ibuprofen. Try surgery if it gets bad. Learn to live with it. That is not true. It has never been true. And if you've been doing everything you thought was right and nothing worked, it is not your fault. You weren't given this information. Nobody was. Joint pain after 60 is not inevitable. It is not wear and tear. It is 5 specific, fixable failures happening inside cells that are waiting for the nutrients they need. Your great-grandparents ate nuts by the handful. No labels, no science, no supplements. They just ate them. And most of them walked up and down stairs into their 80s without thinking about it. We forgot. That is all. We got lost in processed food and pharmacies, and we forgot that food itself, raw, simple, unprocessed food, was medicine. And it still is. You are not broken. Your habits are broken. Fix the habits, fix the joints. So here is my challenge to you. Starting tomorrow morning, I want you to begin the joint mix. 1 Brazil nut and a small handful each of pistachios, hazelnuts, cashews, and almonds. All of them raw, all of them unsalted. Every single day. For the next 30 days. Only 30 days. That's all I'm asking from you. Because this works. The science behind it is solid. The studies are real. And the results will come. But you have to do the work. Your joints are not going to fix themselves, and no pill is ever going to do this for you. Your knees will thank you, your hands will thank you, your independence will thank you.